Hello, good evening, everyone. Now, let me see how many people in this room. All right, we have 43 people in this room. I think it's too late already. Now, I asked this question before and I'm going to ask again. Now, how many of you here have your first jab already? First jab. Now, if you already taken your first jab, maybe you comment below, let me know. If you have taken your second jab, maybe you comment 2 and let me know. Let me see how many of you have taken vaccine. Wow, his time got 2 already. What about the rest? What about the rest? All right, a lot of people taken 1. Okay, how many of you haven't? Well, I can see some is 0. Okay, what about the rest? Okay, some say 1, some say 0. So, oh, a lot of people take 1 already. Some of them got 2, some is 0. All right, interesting. Now today, COVID cases really very shocking, very, very shocking. But I also understand that now they are doing mass testing. That's why the number also up a little bit. Some of the positive news that I want to share with you, I also understand that yesterday we actually achieved the highest of vaccination rate. I think this is a very good news. In fact, we should share that kind of news to our clients. Let the client know that we actually have the highest vaccination rate in the history. In fact, they target this 420,000. It should be done in August, but we managed to do it in July, and hopefully, everyone will be able to get your vaccine. Now, let me quickly introduce myself. I know some of you know me already. I just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Jonathan Kuek. I'm from Market Center 1, and today we're going to talk about Tactic 4 on the topic of shift. Tactic 4, we talk about finding the motivated leads, and I also want to touch on a little bit about converting the leads. I think that is very, very important. Now, what I did last week, I talked about the leads, I talked about prospecting and marketing. If you want to know a little bit deeper, I think I actually teach that in my classes. And then today I'm going to share about what the method that you will use and what is the message you will use, and also some of the model that I want to introduce to you. And also today I have 2 special guests with me that we talk about what we call education is the new lead generation. Now let me repeat that again. Education is the new lead generation. So I just want to recap now. If you have a piece of paper in front of you, right? All you need to do, if you have, but if you don't have, just imagine, a triangle shape, a triangle. Okay. Now, when it comes to lead generation, the top part, we always talk about lead generation. Now, if you have attended some of my lead generation classes, I talk about the number of leads that you will need, the prospecting and marketing activities that you will need to do, and focus on what works and not what doesn't work. And every time we will need to review that. So the number of leads, the prospecting and marketing, and lastly is to really understand we are actually in lead generation business. Now, a lot of people say we're actually in real estate business, we buy and sell, correct, right? But the thing is that if you don't have leads, you're not in business. If you don't have leads, you're not in business. And in a shift market, right, we need to generate leads differently, whether you're being in a sub-sale market or in a project market. And all the activities that you do, right, will not last forever. And we will need to keep on changing and changing. I give you an example. Many years ago, cold call works for me very well. Cold call works very well. Then after that, I changed to Facebook marketing. Then in a certain period of time, I just stagnant. Then I changed to Google Ads. Then slowly I changed to KW command. I think some of the iProperty worked. And then now at this moment, I changed to, I don't know why Kelvin and Joanne put JKG. Disturbed me, Kelvin and Joanne. My special guest today, okay? So, hi, Joanne and Kelvin, both of you. Thank you for, switch on your camera. I don't feel so lonely now. Okay, so where am I? Okay, now now I'm doing SMS blasting for certain project, and it really worked. Okay, so if you imagine the triangle, the top part is lead generation, marketing, prospecting, and then what works and what doesn't work. Then the second part called leads follow-up. Now, follow-ups come with 3 things: follow-up, follow-through, and follow-back. That part I haven't touched on yet. So that one maybe for the next training I'll touch on. But today, I want to talk about leads conversion. Now, what does leads conversion means? Meaning to say, you don't have lead generation problem. You have leads, but you have one problem. You have one problem, meaning to say you are unable to convert the leads into appointment, or you are unable to convert the leads into the sales that we want to talk about. So before we go deep, right, because you and I understand that I'm going to do this exercise and want to do together with you. You and I understand that we are in a very different market that we haven't experienced before. We are in a market that we haven't seen before, and we are trying to adjust ourselves and try to find ways to look for opportunity. I'm going to share this slide with you, and then you tell me which skill that you want to improve. By the way, today I actually on 2 PowerPoint slides and 2 PDF files that I want to share with you. So I got a lot of information to share with you, but I will go through very quickly, very quickly, so that you can capture most of the information in a short period of time. Okay, now it's 9:10 already. Sorry, let me see. Wait, tactic 5. Wait a minute, this one is tactic 4. Sorry, not this one. Tactic 5. Wait, Joanne, are you seeing market that test your skill? This file, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, cool. By the way, this one is instructor notes, you know. When as I go through and preparing materials, I realize that why not I just show everything to you and then you capture whatever you want. I think that's the best part, and then you slowly digest it. Now, when the market change, right, there are 4 skills that will test you, okay? So it will expose the conversion rate that you have and also test your system and test your skill that you're doing. Number 1, it tests your skill at capturing leads. Okay, so it says if you're struggling with capturing motivated leads, you're just letting the momentum of the seller market bring people to you and make decisions for you. Then at the shift market has exposed your weaknesses. Okay, this is the skill number 1 that it will test you, capturing the leads. Now, skill number 2, it tests you the skill at connecting with your leads. Now, I run a few projects this moment, and I understand some of the Asian pain point is that I have leads, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I have leads, but I don't know how I should start my conversation. I have leads, I invited, but then the client got no response. How should I follow up? So how do you connect with the leads is the key, you know? So what it says here is that you must have focus to respond to your leads quickly, ask great questions to find out what they need and know enough about the market to provide solution. So if you want to screenshot this, go ahead and screenshot this if you want to. Let me make it smaller so that you all can see. Okay. Number 3, what is that? You know, your skill at cultivating the leads. And today I just have a coaching session with one of my agent, and my agent say this. I don't call it my agent. I think I should call it my partner. You know, my partner say this. Throughout the lead generation process, she actually got a lot of good leads. You know, in Bangsa, a lot of good leads. But somehow the biggest problem is that I cannot convert the leads into appointment or bring the leads to Zoomina. So the thing is that if you have leads, you can't bring to Zoomina or you can't convert the leads to appointment, right? Basically, it's not so successful in your business, but we need to cultivate that. So to cultivate your leads, right? The thing is that you must really understand what is the response of the leads. Now, some of the leads problem that we have is that the client is ready to buy, but not willing to put booking fees. I'm not too sure how many of you have this problem before. The client is ready to buy, but not ready to put booking fees. Okay? And I can give you a very good case. Is one of our foreign client in Hong Kong, and we present this product to them. The client really like it, really like it, but the client just don't want to place booking. And we ask them this question, why? Because the client say, I would definitely need to come to Malaysia, go to the show unit, see the site, then I only place the booking. I think it's a very fair, right? You know, you can't buy property just like that, you know, but the client desire is like that. So sometimes when you have a very strong lead, right, but you are unable to convert them, is because certain desire has not met. And it's a timing issue. It's a timing issue. It's not about your problem. It's not about the client's problem. It's a timing issue. For example, this kind of leads probably will need to take about 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, or 1 year to close the deal. The question is, what are you going to do with these leads in the next 1 year, in the next 6 months, in the next 7 months, 8 months, 9 months to 1 year? If you're not doing anything, then you are not cultivating the leads. I'm not too sure if this makes sense to you. All right. And lastly, your skill at holding your team accountable to be as skilled as you at capturing the leads, converting the leads, cultivating the leads, and and connecting the leads. Now, I want you to comment below from skill 1, 2, 3, 4, which one you feel that you need to improve. Maybe you can comment below and let me know. Let me understand where is your pain point. Let me see. Wow. Let me see. I think today, maybe everyone just join in like a radio station. then I will just, okay, Hon, I love you, Hon. You're so nice. I should buy a durian for you. Okay, who else? Okay, who comment? I will buy. No, just kidding. Okay, so only Hon reply. Okay, only 2, 3, 4. Yuan Ling has also say 2, 3, 4. Christine say 1, 2, 3. What about the rest? Okay, I think the rest are pretty good. Okay, all fantastic. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay, what else? Okay, so all this, we will solve that problem. I'm not too sure I have time to cover this, but I think you can solve that problem. I think one of the things that will help and also improve your skill is to practice your script. Practice your script. That one, I will highlight that later. Let's move on. Later, I will highlight that later if I have time. Let's move on to the next one that we want to show you this. I have a lot of information. I hope you capture all that. I'm going to show you the next one, also full of information, but we'll run through it very quickly. This one is tactic 4. Page 25. Wait a minute. Let me see. Okay, I think it's this one. Sorry, let me see. Are you seeing find the motivated slide?
Yep. Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. Sorry, about 3 presentation slides. Let me go for full screen. Okay, I just want to quickly recap. If you want to capture it, you can just capture it. Now, the thing is that one of the things is that you have to use the right method, whether prospecting or marketing. That one I covered already for my last week. Today, I want to talk about the message. The message that you bring out, the script that you bring out. So some of the things that you want to improve earlier that you mentioned 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Later, I will show you some of the script that maybe you want to capture. It works for secondary market and primary market, maybe a different script, right? Now, the message, there are 2 things that you really want to do. Number 1, please make sure your message match your market. And you and I have to understand that the motivated leads are getting lesser and lesser and lesser. So if your message is not relevant to them, they won't be able to respond to you. Number 2 is to make an offer, a direct offer or indirect offer, and you wait for a response. Later, I will go deep into that and also highlight about it. Okay, let me go to the next one. So make offer for immediate response. The more immediate the response, the more motivated the leads is. Okay, I'm gonna highlight this a little bit. For example, I remember I shared this at the Ignite classes for those who are in real estate, pretty new, or you are in a secondary market and you need to increase your listing, right? I remember we were having a conversation with Joanne. We are talking about going to a high-end market, anything that is above 2 million that we want to target that. And one of the activities, I think the most effective activities that we want to do is probably SMS blasting. And SMS blasting, we want to go with a direct offer. For example, you are a specialist in this area, or for example that if you want to know how much your property worth, right, reply yes, something like that. And in a short period of time, we want to do mass SMS blasting to see how many people respond to us. For example, you have 1,000 contact number, right? The most effective ways to generate all the listing, for example, you have 1,000 contact number, and in a short period of time, you blast all of them. And some people say, hey, you should call 1,000 of them. And I would think that maybe it will take a little bit longer time to do that. It will take a little bit longer time. But if I use SMS blasting and I attend to those who respond to me first, it will work. Okay, and I only call for those who respond to me. I think by just having a conversation with them and educating them will take a lot of time. Okay, and I always remember my mentor told me this: if you don't know how to advise your client, you're nothing but a salesman. I think at the market today, we want to create more value to our client. Okay, I will quickly run through it. So lead generation, prospecting, and marketing. If you want to screenshot, you can screenshot. I will run through very quickly because I want to move on to the next one. So this is some of the example that you can use a direct offer. Are you thinking of moving? Do you want me to help you to get a home of your dream, or you're considering selling your home? Do you want me to handle the sales of your property? So this is number one. Number two, you can screenshot this indirect response. I won't go through one by one, but you don't want to be so direct. You can be a very indirect. You can capture this script if you want to. Then I will move on to the next one, marketing offer for direct response and a marketing offer for indirect response. This is some of the script that you can use for advertisement. If you want to sell your home now, call me. But I think some people don't really like direct response. Depends on your certain market. Depends for certain market. If today I am the seller that I really need to sell, right? Because there's an urgency to sell, I will respond to your direct message, you know. But the thing is that I need to find motivated leads. What does motivated leads? Motivated leads meaning to say, I know I want to sell now and it has to be sold. Then if I give a direct message, right, I think they will respond to me. All right. So it depends how you think about it. Okay. So these are the 31. So these are things that I won't go through about that. So I hope that you are able to capture some of this. And I want to show you the second message. Wait a minute. Let me see. Okay. I want to send the second. Sorry, I got a lot of files here. Wait. Let me open up the other file for you. And the next things I want to highlight is this. I hope you're able to see it. Are you looking at the slide step 1 capture? Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Now, before that, I want to show you this. I want to show you this concept. It's a 4-step for your conversion process as we talk about leads conversion, right? So the number one, first thing, just now I talk about the 4 skill, correct? Number 1 is to capture the leads. Number 2 is to connect the leads. Number 3 is cultivate the leads. Number 4 is to convert the leads. And this slide also will go through a little bit quickly. You can screenshot it, but I want to, end of the days, I want to highlight the biggest problem that you and I have is the leads you have, but how do you convert that? But I want to give you this model and also concept for you to digest a little bit. So let's talk about step 1. I will try to finish this in 10 minutes. Let's talk about step 1, capturing the leads. Now, number 1, things that you really want to know is who do you want to capture? You know, you want to capture buyer, or you want to capture seller, or you want to capture, you know, like a very niche market, industrial market. I remember Tim To shared about how he prospecting for industrial property, very niche market. So we have to be very clear who is our client. So is developer your client, is investor your client, or first time home buyer is your client. So the first thing first, you must need to identify who do you want to capture. All right, so that's the first thing that you want to do. Number 2, we want to find the motivated, who is ready to buy, who is willing to buy, and who is able to buy, or who is ready, willing, able to sell. For example, if I am ready to buy and I am able to buy, but I'm not willing to buy, what does it mean? Mean to say I'm ready to buy your property and I can get a loan, but I'm not willing to buy at this price. This is one of the example, finding the motivated. Number 2, or maybe finding the motivated seller. The seller is ready to sell, confirm I want to sell, And the seller is able to sell because he is the only property owner for this property. But the seller is not willing to sell at the market price. Not willing to sell at the market price. And the seller only want to sell the above market price. Now, if you have this kind of listing, right, I just want to let you know, then your listing is not motivated. Then the seller is not motivated to sell. It's not for sure. So if you have this kind of listing, please do something about it. And I don't want you to have this kind of listing in your business. You should not prioritize them, because if you prioritize 80% of the time for this kind of listing, your whole business become paralyzed. You know, that is very, very serious. So if you want to find a motivated buyer or seller, are they ready? Are they willing? And are they able to do it? So later we'll talk about this a little bit more about the leads that you have. Okay. So what is ready? What is now? Now is ready, willing, and able to buy. Means to say they are able to do it. And we've seen buyer doing this kind of market, which is Mary Chang, the buyer from Singapore, and also Chris Tang. You know, the buyer is Kanjong want to buy Bangsa Hill Park. You know, something like that. So the future is ready at some time in the future. Now, I just want to let you know, maybe a lot of your leads fall under this future, ready at some point in the future. Now, let me go back to one slide earlier. I might be ready to buy, but I'm not willing to buy now. Or maybe I'm willing to buy, I'm not ready. Reason because most of the clients that you and I have, probably they are not willing to place the booking is because they don't see the certainty in the economy. They feel very uncertain. They feel very uncertain and they are not sure. Now, this kind of client, if they behave like that, we can't change their mindset. No matter how we educate them, the client don't want to do anything. There's nothing you can do. But there's one thing that you can do is that you can maintain the relationship with the client until the client feel that the market is certain. Now, most of the people will feel the market, the economy is running, is certain, is the FMC, once the FMCO is lifted up, everyone is able to walk around and travel around, which I would think probably in the next, I don't want to say this, and I hope it's not true. Hopefully it's not in 2 months' time. Hopefully 1.5 months, maximum probably 2 months. I hope in 2 months' time maximum, we are able to travel around. And I hope that by the time in 2 months' time, maybe majority of us here already got 2 shots, 2 jab that we are able to travel around. Okay, so I will touch on that a little bit. I want to move on quickly. So you have to ask yourself this question, screenshot it. Who are your preferred customer? What are their profile? Does your prospecting and marketing target this customer? I'm targeting a very high-end customer right now. I just want to let you know, I don't know why it works. SMS works. SMS blasting works at this moment. Maybe in the future it doesn't work. And at the same time, I have to keep on, because I know SMS one day, probably another 3 more weeks, the SMS won't work already. I will need to find a new prospecting activities. And I actually found one and I practice that. I'm going to do that soon. Okay, so I won't talk about this, nothing to talk about this. Make phone call, make a good impressions, answer quickly, speak warmly, confidence, and also ask for the appointment. Now, in every call, we have to ask for appointment or we get permission to follow up. Let me highlight this about this when you make phone call. Or later I will highlight that. But I will quickly run through this. I scared I forgot. Every phone call that you make, there are 2 things that you want to do. Number 1, you want to ask for appointment. Remember this. When you make your phone call, you are not selling. When you make your phone call, you are not selling. So don't turn on your selling mode when you make a phone call. When you make a phone call, you are having a good conversation with your client and your call to action is to make an appointment. And oftentimes, the client cannot give you a firm answer that, okay, let's make a Zoom appointment or virtual appointment, something like that. Then if they are not sure whether they can do it, then you ask permission to follow up. So can I follow up with you in 2 days' time or 3 days' time? So 2 things that you want to do is to ask, 3 things, is to have a good conversation with your client and understand the needs. Number 2 is to ask for appointment. Number 3, if you're unable to get appointment, number 3 get permission to follow up. These are the 3 things that you want to do every time when you do lead generation. All the time, okay? So this is step 1. Okay, I don't want to talk about this. Okay, so that is a capture. Number 2, you want to connect to your leads. Let's see what they say here. So to connect to your leads, right? I'm not too sure how many of you here are doing KW command, or I'm not too sure what kind of lead generation activities that you're doing. But every time when you receive a lead, right, my standard to one of my agent is that I want one of my partners, sorry, I need to change my word, I want my partner to make calls immediately. So if the leads I generated from Google form, I will make calls within a minute, and every time I will create a very good impression. Okay, if the leads that you generated from Facebook or SMS blasting, best you make call within 12 hours. Best you make the call within 1 hour is the better. Okay, but I remember there's a high standard there. If you can make calls in 15 minutes time, will be awesome. The faster, the better. Okay, so but it says here, respond to all your inquiries within 5 minutes. If you're able to do that, please do that. You know, you should set this kind of standard for yourself. Okay, so if you don't respond quickly, someone else will. Okay, so you have only 1 to 2 minutes to create a positive and lasting impression. So this is a connect. So some of the soft skill that you want to learn about this, and is to really practice your script, how to do the opening. All right. Reason for the conversion, conversation. You know, just like I mentioned, is to have a good conversation, right? So you need to identify whether the client is motivated, and your goal is to set appointment, and you provide custom answer. You know, build purposeful business relationship. Okay, move buyer to pre-approve and begin action plan. All right, communicate in person. I always like to talk. You know, some people like to do WhatsApp. I'm not too sure. If your client prefer WhatsApp, do WhatsApp. If your clients prefer to talk, then you can talk. All right. So ask smart question. Okay. So maybe you can take a look at this if you want to screenshot it. What is the motivation that you want to sell, and what is the motivation you want to buy? So what are the features of your property? What is the price? Okay, the agent, the financing, the contact information. So these are the things that you want to ask. Okay, so sample question for your buyer. You know, I'm gonna go through this. If you want to screenshot, you can screenshot. So what are you looking for in your dream home? So what makes you want to move? You know, so do you own the place where you are living right now? I always ask, are you living in nearby that location? Or I will always say this, oh, by the way, are you familiar with that location? Because this will help me to understand the buyer a little bit more. Okay, so what price range do you have in mind? All right, so these are the sample question that you can use, and by asking this question, you really can have a very good conversation with your client already. For example, I think one of the questions that you really want to ask is, by the way, are you looking for investment or own stay? What is the motivation behind? Okay, these are things. So simple question for seller, you know, what is the address of your home? Because this will help me to give you the CMA report, and what makes you want to sell, you know, why do you want to sell the property? So are you interviewing others agent? Okay, oh, by the way, go back to the buyer. One of the questions that I always ask, what are the property that you have seen? Okay, so what are the property that you have seen? Which agent you are working with right now? So that you know where you can fit in, and you know where you can, you know, stand differently compared to the other agent. Okay, so how much do you think your home is worth? Okay, tell me about your house. These are the good questions that you want to ask a seller. Okay, so again, we always want to ask for appointment. So if they say yes, you have a 50-50 chance. If no, then we move on to the next one. Okay, propose a day, time, and place. Now we can't do anything, but I think now we can do a virtual appointment. Okay, I will run through quickly. Yeah, enter to your database. This one is another topic. You know, your database is very, very important in your business. Okay, now the step 3 that we want to highlight is to really cultivate. Okay, cultivate. So cultivate means there are a lot of information here, but I just want to summarize everything. What does cultivate mean is to build and maintain a good relationship with your client and have good relationship with your client. For example, let me tell you this. For example, some of the potential client that you have, if I have the crystal ball, for example, I will tell you maybe in 4 to 6 months or 8 months time, they will buy property from you. And if you understand this timeline, 4 to 6 months to 8 months, they will buy property from you. So how you should keep this relationship with your potential leads? Because if you're not talking, if you're not having a good conversation with your client or maintain a good relationship with your client, somebody else will do that. Somebody else will do that. So what you do right now will determine how your business will be doing once the FMCO is lifted up. Okay, so the question is that right now we are in this situation, probably in the next 1 to 2 months time. So what we need to do to make the client think about us all day, or every time when the client think of property, think about Joanne Ong, think of property, think about Kelvin Cobb, you know, something like that. So these are things that you and I want to do during this season of time, especially for the hot leads that you have right now or potential leads that you have right now. Okay, let me move on. So I remember I talk a lot about 8x8 and 33 touches. It's another long topic. I won't touch on this, but I will just summarize everything here. You can do that with Smart Plan. So I think we have class for Smart Plan. You can go in to the Smart Plan class and learn how to get in touch with your client. And again, always ask for appointment. Always ask for appointment. Okay, so these are things that you want to do. So describe your current system for your cultivating your leads. So are you using 8x8? Are you using Smart Plan? Or how are you keeping in touch with your client? I remember today I saw one of our colleague post this, and he said, finally I understand why my mother and all the aunties send good morning message every morning. Meaning to say, you know, my mom will always send good morning message to me. The picture then got flower one, then there's a sun there, you know. When it comes to night time, he will send me a moon and then say good night, you know. So basically, what my mother is doing, whether my mom basically want to see is my son still alive, you know, whether my son got blue tick me or not, you know. So to make sure each other are good, you know. So these are things. Okay, so what action plans are you using? What are you anticipating the changing needs of your leads? What improvement can you make? So these are things that you want to ask yourself. And lastly, convert the leads. Convert the leads. So now what it says here is that convert takes skill. Conversion takes skill. I'm not too sure. I would just highlight this a little bit. I remember I shared this in my team member, and I say, if 5 of us here serve one client, and I will tell you this particular agent or this particular of my colleague will close the deal, and we won't be able to close the deal because this agent are very skillful. This agent are very skillful, and this agent are able to lead the clients along the way. Okay, the agent are leading the client. The agent are educating the client. So this agent are helping the client along the journey. And oftentimes, if you turn on your selling mode too high, you won't be able to convert the sales. But most of the time, the client will run away. Okay, so never turn on your sales mode. Never. I think at this moment, we really need to educate our client what is the situation right now. Okay, so what they say is know your market, both local and national. Okay, be data oriented and number driven. So one of the things that we realize that in order to really educate your client, show number is really important. The total transaction in your area. For example, if you're a buyer, you want to know what is the total transaction in this area, because the transaction will tell me whether there will be demand in this area. And the transaction will also tell me what is the pricing, is the property appreciate over the last few years. So be data-oriented and number-driven, and oftentimes this will help us to educate the client very well. I remember I was in a Zoom call with one of Joanne's clients yesterday. The client, together with the father, and when we asked what is your concern, right, the client talk a lot. The client say, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about this, I'm concerned about this, the oversupply, the market is bad, I'm not too sure my son's job is secure, this and that. A lot of concern. But when we show, and the biggest concern is that, the biggest fear for buyer is that sometimes they worry they're not buying the right property. They're not buying the safe investment. All right, but data will help us to solve all the problems. So later I will have a conversation with this my speakers today, okay, my guests today, and ask them about this data. And I hope that their sharing will help you to think about this. Okay, and have great communication skill. I think this is good, and have great sales and persuasive skill. Now I want to highlight this: have great communication skill. I think I've seen this problem that you and I have. A really, really great presentation, or maybe a really great conversation that you have with your client, sometimes it's not the one, it's not that you always speak. You want to listen more than you speak. You ask a great question and then you zip out. You ask a great question and then you keep your mouth shut. And open both your ears big, and listen what they're going to tell you. Because the information that they give you, right, will help you to structure how you should structure the conversation, how you should talk to the client, and it will make you understand a little bit better. And one of the problems that I see some of the agents have is that the client haven't finished the question and then they rush in to give all the information. I'm not too sure how many of you is like that. If you're like that, can you comment below and let me know? The client haven't finished the question and then you stop the client and you give all the information. I think this is really bad. This is not a great communication skill. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay? And oftentimes, even though you know what the client is going to ask, let the client finish the question. Let the client finish the question. Don't stop them. Let them ask the question. Okay? Don't jump in and all. Okay? And also conversion rate. This one, we talk about the lead generation model, the total number of leads that you need, the conversion and all that. I won't highlight this so much about this. Don't lose any leads. Oh yeah, I want to highlight this. Don't lose any leads. Your leads is precious, especially during this season of time. I have a big impact on my business. I don't get a lot of motivated leads. I believe you and I have this problem. I really don't get a lot of motivated leads. But I treasure every single one of them. And all the leads that I have, as long as they are willing, they are ready, and they are able to buy, or maybe they're not ready to buy now, but it's okay. If they're willing to buy and they are able to buy, then it's really up to me how to cultivate the leads ready. How to journey with this client in the property searching process. All right, so these are things. So treasure all the leads that you have. Treasure it. In fact, one of the tactic that I want to share with you today to help you to treasure the leads a little bit more is to put a dollar sign next to it. For example, I have these leads. For example, it's Joanne. Trying to sell a property, a bungalow house, 2 million. And I'm getting 3%. Okay, then I will put 60,000 next to these leads. If I do a good job, I deserve this 60,000. If I do a good job, I deserve this 60,000. Okay, so when you put the dollar sign next to your leads, right, it becomes very clear that, oh, if I'm not doing a good job, somebody will do a good job and take over this client. Okay. So these are things that I want to highlight. And then that's it. Okay, I don't want to go on to, I think there are a lot more. Okay, maybe I want to highlight this one or two more. So reason why sellers are not, right mean to say right seller, they are not motivated to the price correctly, not motivated to get a property in good selling condition, no urgency to get out of the house. Okay. So not motivated, especially the selling. I always believe all the property can be transacted. Depends on one thing. Let me repeat that again. or the property can be transacted depends on one thing. What is the thing? Pricing. All the property can be transacted. Even I heard my mentor say, some of the haunted houses also can be transacted if you put the right price there. If you put the right price, they are able to change the ghosts away. I'm not too sure. Okay, so reason why buyers are not right is that they are not they financially are not ready. They're not stable. So I know that some of the client will tell you that people are losing job right now. Bank are not giving loan. It's not true. Bank is giving loan. Bank are in the business of lending money. Their only business model is to lend money away, is to push the money away. They have KPI to hit. We are in the business of selling property and lead generation. Bank are in the business of giving you money. This is their business model. So if the clients say bank are not giving money, it's not true. It's not true. Bank is giving money to the right buyer, to the right people, to the right candidate. Okay? And the buyer lack of motivation, they are not sure why they need to buy. And they can't make decision, And I always like this kind of buyer because this buyer needs a lot of education. If you are able to help them, I believe, I want you to pay a little bit attention to this. Okay? These are the buyers that you have right now. If you're able to help them to find clarity in this moment, they will follow you. By helping them to find clarity in this moment is to educate them and give them relevant information as a point of reference. Okay? This is really important. And some people say, I don't have a property, I'm not looking for my first time home buyer, but they're able to buy. For example, I'm not too sure if this buyer, let's say today I'm able to get loan, but just that I've never thought about property. Now, all you need to do is to create the needs in that person. Some people say, I don't need that. I don't need this house. Actually, it's not true. Some people need house. You can explain to them why. Why do you need property investment? Because you need to educate them, right? Some people buy property is because they want to protect their wealth. Some people buy property because they understand that I cannot be having fixed salaries for the next 20 years. And I need some sort of investment to protect me. Are you educating the first-time home buyer in that way? And most people don't know about this. And maybe they need you to tell them, okay? So these are things that I want to highlight. Wow, talk a lot. Let me see. I think I have a few more, but I'm going to stop here. I will just want to highlight a few things. Let me see. You have leads, but... Okay. I want to highlight two problems. As I coach an agent today, this agent have some worry about the leads, and I believe all of you have this problem. I'm gonna highlight it. I can't see you. Okay, I'm gonna. Jane, can you say hello to me?
Hello, hello.
Okay, thank you. Nobody respond to me for 40 minutes. I'm very sad. Okay.
We're all here.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna bring out these two things that I'm gonna go for interview. It's not interview. Maybe have a conversation, a chit chat session with Kelvin and Joanne. Talk about education is a new lead generation because we have done a few Zoom in. All right. I just want to highlight this because I believe this is your pain point also. Number one, you have leads, but you are unable to convert them. Okay. The client is potential. The client can buy, but the client not buying from you. Okay. One of the thing is that, number one, probably what you have is not what they want. What you have is not what they want. The project that you have right now, the subsidy listing that you have right now, probably is not what they want. Certain desire has not met. Now the solution, what is the solution? The solution is to find a suitable project or a suitable property for this kind of leads. If you have these leads, right, maybe you want to review what the client really wants. They're able to buy, they're willing to buy, but they're not ready to place a booking. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, okay, let me see. Number two, they like it, but they're not ready. They like it, but they're not ready to buy. So mean to say, I really like this property. So just now that one, they're ready to buy, but they don't like the property. So all you need to do is to find a suitable one. The second one is that I like the project that you have at Somewhere Velocity 2 or Bangsa Hill Park. Or I like the project that you have in Cheras area, the Semidi, the bungalow, the terrace house that you have. but I'm not ready to place a booking. Okay, I'm not ready to place a booking. One of the things that I always say is probably there's certain desire has not met. So we really need to identify what desire in that person that we didn't really address it. Number two, they really like it, and I believe all of you have this, they really like it, but they don't want to place a booking because they feel very uncertain about the property market. Very, very uncertain. So what happens is that what will make people feel certain, the psychology is like that, what will make people feel certain is that when the FM seal is lifted up. That's why I say one of the training that I've done is that instead of close a deal in 12 months, we close our deals in 12 weeks time. Because in that 12 weeks, that's where the market is open, that people feel certain. What happened is that during, I think it's March, April, these 2 months, the market is open, right? We close a lot of deals and we convert a lot of cases. I will tell you, if I don't convert them in March and April, right, I will tell you today, they all cancel the deal. They all cancel the deal. So one of the things is that the moment market is open, I will tell you, we will not be in this situation forever. Every day, 11,000 cases will not be forever, okay? And we will get out from this situation. I will just want to tell you, we will get out from this situation and we are ready when the market is open, we are able to convert all the cases. All right, so the solution is that number one, find a suitable property and project for them. Number two, close them when the market is open. Close them when the market is open. So timing is really, really important. All right, so today I thought I want to have a conversation with both of them. I want to share with you a little bit, what do you mean by education is the new lead generation? And I have Kelvin with me today, and we've done a few Zoomina. And sometimes I don't like about Kelvin, you know why? Because every time when they do data, very boring one. Very, very boring. But then I realized the client appreciate that a lot. Really appreciate that a lot. And I've seen that. Kelvin, are you there?
Yes, I'm alive.
Can you quickly tell me, and maybe help some of the agents to understand why data is important in your business and why you always talk about numbers?
Well, first and foremost, thanks for everyone joining. I mean, Jonathan has shared a lot of good tips, a lot of insightful things about the shift tactics. But when it comes to tactics, it's all about action plan, about analysis, and also it's about execution. So if you look at the Googles, about, you just type why property data is so important. Actually, there's a lot of reasons behind. But what is so important about data? Actually, data is about what? Facts, right? It's all about facts. It's all about the recorded versions. It's all about numbers. So you need a person that to interpret it. So who's the one that is interpreting? So are you the one to interpret it, or let the professional to interpret it? So I think basically nowadays people are living in like catch-22 situation. They want to buy, or they don't want to buy, or they don't know what to buy, or maybe they buy and they regret. A lot of things has happened. But I believe that this kind of catch-22 situation, somehow we can help them to minimize, I wouldn't say resolve, minimize that concern via the data analysis. So I think based on the data that we show last time when we do the Zoom, we always like to compare about the property transactions. We compare about the surroundings markets. So that is quite standard. But when we go more things, it's about the macro view. So from the big pictures, let's say Cheras. So do you know that actually Cheras is the top transaction in KL area?
I like that.
This is something we always throw back to the audience, or the guys that attend to our Zoom. So why? Because we pick up from the data from the NAPIC that hey, all these KL transactions Cheras is the most active, and mostly is the high-rise living transactions the most. It's not those lender, So what does it makes it so outstanding for the house, for the high rises? So we break out to few points, like few scores. For example, the standards, and about the housing conditions, walking distance to MRT. That factors makes it so different. So we break out a lot of points, but without that data, I mean, is everything is like guessing lah. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I think, oh yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, you know, everything is like I think. So as a professional, we try to avoid this thing. I'm quite instructive person. Sorry to say that. I believe in numbers more than humans sometimes. Because numbers really can convince people. I'm not sure whether you agree or not. John,
I
what you
am I am 100% convinced by you every time when you show number. You know, that is good. Joanna, I want to ask you, what do you think about this? Is data really important and will help people educate? And I know that you invited a lot of people come to Zoom in. How are you going to so how do you journey with them? Maybe you can share a little bit.
Yeah. So hi everyone. Good evening. So for me, right, I think data it's something that I'm very weak at interpreting it. But I think right now the tools that we have actually make our life a lot easier. So I know that a lot of times when we go to NAPIC, right, there's just so many reports, we don't know where to start, we don't know where to interpret. I find myself relying a lot on bricks and age prop nowadays, which I think is very, very helpful. For those agents that have not actually discovered age prop, it's actually a free tool and it's really user friendly. So for me, for those prospects that I brought into Zoominars or while I am lead generating, it's just I feel that education would be the open door for me to have deeper conversation with them. So I think sometimes we don't want to appear to be selling products, right? So it's very easy. You can just create like an EDM, but EDM is not about your product or it's not about the listing that you have, but it's just a market report. And just send it to them. You say, hey, do you know that this is happening in your neighborhood? Hey, do you know that high rise is actually the highest transacted in Cheras? Things like that would help you to open up a conversation with your prospect, and it's not pushy at all. And people appreciate when you give them information. So I think in that part, I feel that data is actually a very, very useful tool nowadays to be prospecting. Yeah.
Especially now, right? Because everyone
Yes.
say the market is bad. Then you know what happened? Kelvin will just pull out the data. Look at Q1 transaction is higher than last year.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So John, one last question I want to ask you. I remember I talked to this client, your client, very interesting. He
Yeah.
placed a booking and then he couldn't sleep at night.
Correct.
Okay. And then he said, I'm very new. But then after 10 days,
Yeah.
he came back and talked with a lot of wisdom about property. Now, can you share with me what have you done in these 10 days?
Okay, so basically, this is a client of my SOI. He's actually my primary schoolmate, which I have not been in contact for the past 10 over years, right? So, which is why, again, SOI is really a goal. If you don't know if you don't want to spend money in marketing, you don't want to spend money in prospecting, go to your SOIs because they are free. And so when I invited him for the SV2 Zoominar, he was very, very new. He has not bought any property, but he wants to start his real estate investing journey. So immediately after the Zoominar, he made an appointment, a private appointment. And then after I think it's about 2.5 hours talk with him, he immediately placed a booking. But lo and behold, as first-time home buyer, we all know that kind of fear that they have. Immediately, he told me that I think I kind of regretted it. So we went on a call, we addressed his concern, and we tried to understand where he's coming from. So I told him, I said, it's very, very normal for you to feel this way. So what I'm going to do with him is I'm going to go shopping with him. So for the past 10 days, so after 10 days, he placed the booking. I actually went shopping with him with all the projects that Redfield has. So in total, we actually attended, I think, seven project presentation with our fellow colleagues. And by the end of it, I think he was also very tired. But what I really like about the whole journey is I'm also learning from him because I finally can understand actually what a buyer is actually thinking after they place a booking. And I think a lot of times for seasonal agents, right, we always forget the fear and the excitement, a buyer, the feeling, the emotional part, we always tend to like just brush it aside. But in fact, if we can journey with them emotionally, and we just, I feel that people don't want a sales agent, but people want a shopping buddy. And if you can just put yourself as a shopping partner with your buyers, right, it actually has a lot of engaging conversation going on. And throughout these 10 days, not only we went for different product presentation, right, he also went to read all the books that we recommended. So it's very interesting. We told him, hey, you should read this book, MREI. He literally finished the book. I haven't even finished the book, but he has finished the book. So it's really, I felt it's very encouraging to see how education actually can open up a lot of people's mind. And by the end of the 10 day, when we sat down again, right, and we have a Zoom session again, and from the booking that he booked is the smallest unit, he actually upgraded to a bigger unit in SV2, because he finally see that it's not so much about product. Yes, product is important, but it's a lot on managing your investment portfolio. And this is something that I can't give him directly. He has to take on a personal journey. But what we can do as agents is actually to accompany him during this journey. So I really find that this is yes, it takes time. I was also really tired. I told John, I'm like, oh, I'm so tired about the project. But I feel that we are reaping the fruits right now.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Really, really great. Now, Kelvin, I just want to tell you this: the way you structure the Zoomina, that's the impact that you have created.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Now that's why,
correct.
even though Joanne and I always say cut the slide,
Yes.
a certain slide is really important, all right? So Kelvin, I want to ask this question. So how do you structure the whole Zoomina and the flow? So how many % are education? How many % you are introducing the product? Because we are going to have the next Zoomina. Maybe you want to share a little bit. How do you structure that?
What I do always is like, if I'm the audience, what do I expect to take away? I mean, what are the info that I wish to take away from this Zoom? So it's not like when we do the Zoom presentation, we are do for the sake of doing. Sometimes there's education is plays very important nowadays. Especially people live in like conscious world, like, oh yeah, I don't want to spend, or how do I spend it wisely? So I always stand from the customer point of view that, from the beginning of the, the journey, the experience, I would say this experience from the invitation and to the event itself, the Zoom events. So from the Zoom event, we are, I think some of our colleagues here have been attended. We are not that very pushy. All right. So this is something you want to create that environment. We are not like very hard sell. You must die buy one. Some of the agents, agency I attended, they straight away they conduct the presentation is like very robotic. This one product, this one got 12 unit per floor, 5 here by 5 lead, all reading script, this one's location at where, So I think nowadays the consumer is very smart. They don't need you. Actually, sorry to say that, they really don't need you. They just Google, they ask Google, got of info, then they straight can see a lot of review already. But our job actually is to provide non-biased evaluation, because based on the Zoomina, right, we always go deep on the data analysis. So from the data analysis, then why we pick this as one of the shortlisted projects. So that will be much more purposeful, I would say. So because if we are going like this way, like, for example, Bangsa Hill Park, buy this one because Bangsa. Why? Because high end. Why? Because resort condo. So people like, I know lah. So, but what makes it so different? But I think the Bangsa Hill Park teams actually do it very well, honestly speaking. So the slide itself, like, wow, from the lifestyle, from the map, from the data analysis until propose the units, to sell to the buyers. Eventually, we want to sell, right? But it's just that we create the experience. We are not like very pushy, like, wow, sorry to say this word, salesman talk, Maya, that kind of way. So we try to avoid that. So honestly, our Zoom section is quite educational.
Education.
senior experience. So that is something we are working on. So this will be our future's goals also, because
Okay, so that's the direction that you all have, right?
yeah, correct.
That's really awesome. So meaning to say we leverage on certain data to help us to sell. When we say sell, right, we are not pushing them. We are actually helping them to make a decision based on data that we provide.
Correct.
Because buying property can be very emotional. And some people say if we sell based on emotion, the client will cancel the deal. But what if we sell based on emotion with data? Then it's different already. Then it's really different. So thank you for sharing that. And because of that, right, I want to show some of the success that SV2 team have done that you can see. Kevin, can you explain what 199? Are you saying that 199 clients or 199 agents?
Oh my God, this one is, I think it's quite coincidence though. So throughout the 4 Zoom sections that we did, we have generated, and also the attendance has come. It has 199. It means that we have 199 leads.
Wow, 199
leads for 4 sections. 199, actually, because I just generate the Excel sheet, using the Excel sheet, and I was like, hey, how come not 200? It's 199, but actually it's 199. So 199 leads has been generated.
Okay, because last week you didn't bring 10. Joanne will hold you accountable.
Sorry, boss.
Okay, so we have 199 clients that came to our Zoomina, a 10-hour session, and I know that every time your Zoomina presentation become better and better, and then we got 6 appointments, and I understand that these 6 appointments, they actually register themselves.
You're right.
They register themselves and say, I fixed this time and want to see you one-on-one. And then we managed to secure 3 bookings. All right. So really, education is the new lead generation today, and I'm really happy about that. We see the fruit. This is the things that we can do. In fact, if you can also invite your SOI or your client to come to our Zoomina and experience how we do it, or we will be able to help you to close the deal. Reason because we have this Zoomina coming this Saturday, all right, at 17 July, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. All right. So we'll tell 7 reasons why you should own or invest in the best TOD project. Okay, the best TOD project, transit-oriented development. So this is a thing. In fact, I was having a conversation with Tim, and I saw Tim take this initiative to create a lead generation day. Now, if you want to be part of this, and also to join this group and do call together or invite some of your clients to our Zoomina, you can join a team session. He take the initiative to do that. I think he's really very good at doing that. So every day 2 to 4:30, they will do the lead generation. You can join that. Now, if you want to do exercise together with him, go ahead and do it, because Tim say you want to lose some weight. Okay, so go ahead and encourage him. All right. So these are the things that we do. Again, so you can screenshot this, join our group, and you have any question, you can always reach out to us, and we will do that for you. Now, let me see. Is there any question that I can answer, Sharon or let me see. Is there any question that I can take?
Not really.
Not really.
Anyone has questions at the moment? You can put them in the Zoom chat and we can get them answered.
Okay. I see these are some of the buyer, some of the agent pretend like a buyer. I think this one. So all you need to do is that, number one, if you want to be very careful because you have this bad experience before, if you feel that this leads a bit weird, right? You can do some research. Go Google, type their phone number, search their name.
Yes,
what FBI job is it?
Yeah.
FBI, CSI, what I
What I okay.
CSI.
CSI job. So do that and check. This will help you a little bit. And then that's it. Okay. Let me see. FBI job. All right, that's it. It's very late already, 1 hour. I try to enjoy a night session, but I hope you guys enjoy it. 78 people here, and I think I will need to pass back to regional team, right?
Yep.
Or I straight away say bye-bye.
No. We have some announcements to make.
Okay. Can pass back.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jonathan, together with Kelvin and Joanne, for sharing your invaluable experiences and also tips on how you can close more deals by being a consulting agent rather than just being a salesperson in general. So yeah, we have some announcements from the regional side. So this is this week's training calendar. So tomorrow morning, Wednesday, we're continuing the shift series of trainings. So it will be on shift tactic 1, on the preparation mindset, and it will be done by William Goh. And the day after that, on Thursday morning as well, George Tan will be speaking on shift tactic number 7, the art of price persuasion. So for guests, if you have joined us as a guest, feel free to scan the QR code at the bottom of this screen. There will also be a link that you can click on in the Zoom chat where you can register so that we can send the Zoom link to you. Okay, next slide, please. So this is happening this week on Friday night. It is a special session, and it is a part of our White Flag initiative, where we have an Avis Ng. She's a professional counselor from Rekindle, where she will be speaking on the importance of having a healthy mind in this time, especially in this difficult time during the pandemic where we're in the lockdown. So do join us on Friday night at 9 p.m. This is also open to all, so you can invite your friends, your family, co-workers. Take note of if you're a guest, you can take a screenshot of this poster on the bottom right. There will be this Zoom meeting ID as well as the passcode. You can key that in to go in straight away. Otherwise, you can reach out to your whoever who invited you to this session to ask them for the Zoom link so they can pass it on over to you. Next, please. So another thing in the White Flag initiative that we are running now is we're providing financial relief to all agents. So this is available for RENs, PEAs, and REAs who are in the KL and Selangor area. And yeah, just to highlight that this is not just for KW Malaysia agents, but it is for agents in this KL and Selangor who are from other agencies as well. So if you are in need of financial aid, or if you know someone who needs help in that area, what you need to do is you can scan the QR code, or you can also click on the link that is in the Zoom chat as well. So this is how you would put your name in to make this request. And I just want to stress again the confidentiality and privacy of you putting your name into this list. No one in KW Malaysia will know that you have put your name in, other than yourself and the 2 finance staff who are on duty to process this request to disperse the funds over to whoever it is who needs this financial help. Next slide. Yep. So just an update that we currently have 231 names in the list already. So we are targeting 250. So we are quite close to reaching that target. And we have already paid out a total of 28,800 ringgit to the 144 names that are in this list. So we have about a backlog, I would say, of about 90 names in the list that we have not paid out yet because we need more contribution. The pool is already close to 0. I think it's just 5 ringgit right now. So we need more contributions to go in so that we can continue to pay out the rest of the people whose names are in the list already. So an update, we are, as you can see from the 2 bar charts on the left, we are about halfway through, but we seem to have slowed down a fair bit today. And we have 5 more days to continue to receive contributions. And the next slide, please. So there are a few ways that you can contribute to this initiative. One of the ways is you can give direct cash donation. So in the Zoom chat, you will see also the bank account number where you can transfer your funds directly to. The other way is you can also scan this QR code that's on the screen right now. so that you can go to the portal where you can make your contribution using your preferred e-wallet. So when you do that, make sure you indicate that it is white flag so that we know how to process this and channel it to the correct people. The other thing that you can do as well as an alternative is to make an instruction through your market center that when you receive your next commissions, that a portion of it or an amount will go to the white flag fund. So if you want to do that, make sure you reach out to your market center's MCA and to make this arrangement with them. The third option is to share touch points. So next slide, please. So what you can do is if you know anyone who is willing to contribute, if you know that they are able to, or it could be your client or colleague or even family or friend, if you know that they can help out in this area to financially support these agents who are in need in this in the real estate industry. You can also download these touch points from Workplace in the Retail Happenings group, and you can send them out to them. So to just reach out to them to ask if they are interested to contribute to this fund. And that's the touch point on the left. So the one on the right is more on the session that's happening this coming Friday on the mental health one. So that one is also something that is open to all. You can forward it to your clients, to your friends or family to see if they are interested to join and they can benefit from this session as well. Next slide, please. Okay, right. So that's the end of this session. Thank you so much for joining us. It is 10:15, and I would say a very good night to you. Good evening if you're gonna still stay up after this. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us. Good.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Jen. Bye, Kevin.
Bye-bye.
Smooth like butter, like a criminal undercover. Don't pop like trouble, breaking into your heart like that. Cool shade stunner, yeah, owe it all to my mother. High like summer, yeah, I'm making you sweat like that. Break it down. Ooh, when I look in the mirror, I'm not too hard to do. I got the superstar glow, so ooh, do the booty. A side step right left to my beat. I like the moon rock with me, baby. Know that I got that heat. Let me show you, cause God can shit. Side step right left to my beat. Get it, let it roll. Smooth like butter, pour you in like no other. Don't need no usher to remind me you got it bad. Ain't no other that could sweep you up like a